What's up, everybody? It's Billy Briz, aka at Getting Bills over there on Twitter, breaking down another one of these Draftkings and Fanduel slates. Let's go right into this one. We're just going to go position by position today. Usually I go team by team, but today I feel like it's a positional by positional type of day since we have so many injury news and so many different studs to pick between. But first things first, Washington and Minnesota, one of the highest point totals of the day. Russell Westbrook is going to be out for today, so that's going to pop up a lot of value, guys, over here on the Washington side of the ball and really help out the Minnesota matchup overall for just a higher pace game just in general. Going down the player pool, one of my favorite point guard studs of the slate is going to be Damian Lillard. I'm probably going to pick up Damian Lillard as a pay-up option. $9,800 may feel a little bit expensive over there on FanDuel. $9,300. Damian Lillard is one of my favorite studs of the day. I think this is a good matchup here against Golden State. I really like Dame here in this spot compared to the other studs on the slate. Like, I know a lot of people are going to try to play Trae Young today, but Atlanta's on the first game of a back-to-back, and Rajon Rondo's back, so I don't know how much minutes you're really going to see out of Trae Young. Let's see if I can pull up his last game. His last game, he played 32 minutes against the Brooklyn Nets in the same exact matchup. With Rondo being back, you're not really going to see that 35-minute mark there for Trae Young. So I don't know if I'm going to play Trae Young today. And he's also questionable, so that's maybe something we may have to monitor for today. Curry feels like a little bit too priced up today with Draymond Green being back. But also going down the player pool, Kyrie Irving, $9,300. Seems like a pretty good pay-up option today. I kind of like KD in the same exact game, but if you're game stacking this game, obviously Kyrie's going to be part of that game stack. I kind of like paying down for Kyrie over Trae Young in the same exact game. There's a lot of guards today on this slate that you can really go through. Another one also being D'Angelo Russell. Without Karl Anthony Towns, D'Angelo Russell's usage rating should be the highest on the team and should be relied on a lot here to score against the Washington Wizards here, one of the highest point totals of the day. D'Angelo Russell definitely popping there at $7,500. And then on FanDuel, he's listed at shooting guard, same exact price tag. Shooting guard's always dead over there on FanDuel, so D'Angelo Russell is definitely a guy I'll be getting a lot of today. Also going down, I don't know if I'm going to play DeJounte Murray today. Derek White should be back, so I don't know if DeJounte Murray is going to be in my player pool today. It's more of a LaMarcus Aldridge news-reliant type of thing for me with DeJounte Murray. Chris Paul, I don't know if he's going to play this game. Phoenix is on a second game of back-to-back. He isn't listed as questionable or anything, but I'm still don't know if Chris Paul is going to play. That's just me. Drew Holiday, though, $6,600. For DraftKings, seems like a good GPP option, but over there on FanDuel, also $600. Maybe people are scared about this Bucks game blowing out, but I do like Drew Holiday's price tag across the website. $6,600 seems like a pretty good price tag, but I think there's some better value as you go down the player pool a little bit more. Kobe White, $6,400 against Milwaukee. He should have the highest usage rating behind Zach LaVine for the Chicago Bulls. I feel like there's going to be a lot of chalky Bulls options as we go through the different positions. You'll definitely see what I'm talking about. A lot of my core plays are going to be some of the value guys from the Chicago Bulls side of the ball. Going down, LaMelo Ball, $5,300. He's been improving, but I'd rather play Ricky Rubio there at $5,200. This is a perfect matchup against the Wizards here. He should be second on the team in usage. D'Angelo Russell, $2,000 more, so maybe you can get to Ricky Rubio there for GPPs. Tyus Jones, though, I feel like Ricky Rubio is a better FanDuel play than DraftKings play because Tyus Jones is priced up at $5,700 on FanDuel, but on DK he's $5,100. Maybe people don't go back there with Tyus Jones. Last game that they played was against the Boston Celtics, which kind of ultimately blew out. He's about a fantasy point per minute player, so if he plays about 30-plus minutes, especially with Grayson Allen being out, his minutes should definitely seem blowout proof. And D'Anthony Melton should be out too, also as well. So $5,100 for Tyus Jones. I would definitely go back there, even though I did get burned in that blowout in that last game. Going down a little bit more, maybe if you want to go with Peyton Pritchard, I'm probably not going to go there, but that's because Raul Neto's there at $3,400. One of my favorite value plays of the slate is going to be Raul Neto. He should be the starting point guard there without Russell Westbrook. Raul Neto smashed in that spot last time. And I really like his price tag on DK. Definitely still think he's viable over there on FanDuel at $4,500, but Raul Neto, $3,400 over here on DK. Seems like one of the best value plays of the day if you're looking the punt at this position. Let's go over to the shooting guard position. Cover boy today is Bradley Beal, $9,400, one of my favorite plays of the slate. She should definitely smash here against the spot against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Not really high on this team. I think it's one of the worst teams in the league. But without Russell Westbrook, that also makes the Wizards one of the worst teams in the league. I feel like this is going to be the highest pace game on the board. And I want to get a lot of Bradley Beal, especially over there on FanDuel with $9,500. Not multi-positional eligible over there on FanDuel. So I might want to pay up for a guy like Bradley Beal and maybe one of the point guard studs that I talk about over some of the studs that we're going to talk about in the later games. But going down a little bit more, Jaylen Brown, $8,100. If you want to go back there, I do like that over the guys like CJ McCollum, Paul George, and Devin Booker. With Kawhi being back, I'm probably not going to play Paul George, $8,700, way too expensive. Even if I'm max multi-entering today, I probably won't get a lot of Paul George. Donovan Mitchell, though, $6,800 seems like a pretty cheap price tag. I'll add him to my player pool over here on DK. Also going down the player pool, Malik Beasley, you can add him $5,800. Maybe a little bit risky, so you can put him as a GPP option. Not really a cash game play, but a guy that I want to get some GPP upside towards. Going down on Anthony Edwards, GPP option, $5,100. One of those Minnesota guys without Josh Okogie. His minutes seem pretty safe. Going down a lot for me today, but with Raul Neto being there, such cheap value, I'm probably not going to get to a guy like Jeff Teague today. Not really my type of jam today. Maybe if Jamal Murray's out, you can pop in a guy like Gary Harris, but Gary Harris's usage rating has been absolutely horrendous this year. Bane, though, from the Memphis Grizzlies is a guy that you should keep your eye out for future slates. I don't know if I'm going to get there on this slate. There's a lot of value on this slate that I really like. Like I said, the Washington side and the Chicago teams are really where I'm going to go for value today. So I don't think I'm going to get the Bane. We probably should see Grayson Allen out for a couple of weeks. But Chicago Bull, Garrett Temple, potential value play if you want to add him to your GPP. A lot of people are going to be playing Thaddeus Young and Otto Porter today. So I do like Garrett Temple today, $3,600. Seems like a pretty cheap price tag for a guy that can definitely light up the scoreboard on a good day. I do like some Garrett Temple today. Let's go over to the small forward position here. Small forward position, it's kind of ugly, man, to be honest with you. $8,600 pay up option, Jason Tatum. Definitely seems viable there at the small forward position. Over there on FanDuel, $7,900. Looking for Kevin Durant, but I think Kevin Durant's listed as a power forward over here on DK, so we'll save that one for later. Also going down, DeMar DeRozan seems a little bit too cheap still at $7,300, regardless of the news that breaks today. Jeremy Grant, $6,800 without Blake Griffin there. His usage should bump up a little bit, but seems like a little bit too expensive of a price tag. I'd rather pay for Josh Jackson as we talk. We'll talk about him as we get a little bit cheaper here. Kyle Anderson's a guy that I'm going to be adding to my player pool. Him and Dylan Brooks. Kyle Anderson, I want to say $6,400 over there on FanDuel. Small forward's always going to be dead over there on FanDuel. So definitely we'll be getting some Kyle Anderson. Dylan Brooks, though. Dylan Brooks seems a little bit expensive, but without John Morant being there, Grayson Allen also not being there, man, Dylan Brooks is going to have to shoot the ball a lot. So Dylan Brooks is definitely a guy that I'm going to try to get some GPP plays towards, either if it's 3 max or single entry, especially in single entry. I don't think Dylan Brooks is going to be too high owned in single entry compared to where I think he should be owned. Denny Avila, the Washington Wizards rookie, finally got a price up. $5,000 seems a little bit expensive to me, in my personal opinion. Nicholas Batum could be potential value, but I kind of like Derek Jones a little bit cheaper. But Marcus Morris is still out too. If you want to play Nicholas Batum, go ahead. I think he's still a viable play. Patrick Williams, though, $4,400. He got in foul trouble yesterday, but overall, without all those Chicago guys being on COVID protocol, Patrick Williams seems like a pretty good option today. Also going down, there's a lot of cheap small forwards today. Over there on FanDuel, I'm probably going to pay up at small forward and then punt down at the position. Looking for Josh Jackson. I haven't seen his name pop up yet. Maybe he's listening to his power forward here over on DK. But going down a little bit more, let's just type his name in. Josh Jackson's $5,200. One of my favorite plays of the day. Without Blake Griffin being there, he should be the starter. He's been playing really, really well these last couple of games, and he also started off the year pretty hot also as well. $5,200 and then $4,800 listed as small forward over there on FanDuel. Josh Jackson's one of my sneaky favorite plays of the day that I haven't really seen too many people talk about so far. Overall, though, small forward, man, not too shabby, man. Probably just going to punt down at the position overall. I'm looking for Otto Porter. I think Otto Porter is $5,600. One of my favorite plays of the day is going to be Otto Porter. If you played that FanDuel early on slate, and if you had Otto Porter, man, he was the keys to the kingdom to taking down the GPP yesterday was Otto Porter. So I think he's going to be very chalky today. DK seems a little bit expensive, though, $5,600, but I'm still going to plug him in there. I think he should be playing over 30 minutes today. I almost said over 35 minutes. That would be ridiculous if you've seen Otto Porter play all 42 minutes in the game. But Otto Porter, man, he can stat the stat sheet in different categories, and I really do like that. And his price tag over there on FanDuel, $4,400, seems like one of the best plays of the slate over there. Let's get over to the power forward position. I feel like there's a lot to talk about here in the power forward position. $11,000 for Giannis Antetokounmpo today. Man, maybe some people don't want to pay up for Giannis today, but I definitely won't be one of them and get some Giannis in my GPP lineups today. The verdict is still be determined on cash games if I'm going to play Giannis or not, especially over there on FanDuel. There's a lot of cheap power forward option values that I like today. And overall, I might punt that position. But Giannis, though, $11,000 over here on DK, man, too cheap of a price tag. Regardless if this game blows out or not, you really shouldn't really think about your lineups like that. I think Giannis is going to be a good play regardless of the outcome of this game, if it's blown out or not. But if the game is close, Giannis is going to smash that $11,000 price tag over here on DK. Also going down a little bit is John Collins, $7,200. We saw him smashing this spot last time against the Brooklyn Nets. Over there on FanDuel, his price tag is still pretty cheap also as well. I'm going to say it's $7,000 flat. 48 points, though, in that 48 fantasy points in that last game, though. Atlanta's on the first game of the back-to-back, so I don't know how many minutes you see out of John Collins, but also Dalino Gallinari's there. So I don't know what to do with John Collins today because it's not a guy that I really want to play with Clint Capella back. But the ownership is going to be there, so you're going to have to get some of him today. But remember, Atlanta's on the first game of a back-to-back today, so don't go overweight on that Atlanta side of the ball. Also going down, Michael Porter Jr., health protocols for the Denver team. Nikola Jokic is going to smash. He's been the leading fantasy producer so far this year. We're at the power forward position. We're going to stick at the power forwards. Bogdanovich, $5,900. I like his price tag over there on FanDuel, still $5,200. Still seems like a pretty cheap price tag. Miles Bridges and PJ Washington sandwich back-to-back against each other. One of those guys are going to be able to smash in GPPs. Who is it going to be? Who knows, man? PJ Washington's going to play some backup five. But with Joe Val, with this game being against Joe Val, I feel like they're going to go with Bismack Biyombo for longer minutes. That might take out a guy like Miles Bridges and PJ Washington in my player pool. But I do like Brandon Clark. If you go down a little bit more, where is Brandon Clark? $5,100. And then over there on FanDuel, $4,600. He isn't one of my favorite plays of the day, but he's definitely a guy that I'm going to be getting in some stacks because that Memphis team seems like a team that, let's say you stack that Atlanta-Brooklyn game and then you want to bring back with some pieces from the Memphis side of the ball as value. I definitely see that as a viable GPP single entry option for today. Jay Crowder, though, he's been red hot, $4,900. If you're going to play Jay Crowder, I'd rather play him over on FanDuel. But one of the best value plays of the day, though, is going to be Thad Young, $3,500. Damn near min price over here on DK. He's going to smash in this spot here against Milwaukee, regardless of if this game blows out or not. Thaddeus Young, $3,500. He should be a $5,000 price tag player with all those guys like Laurie Markkinen being out like that. Thad Young, I don't think he'll get the start, but he should get enough minutes to definitely smash this price tag here. $3,500, one of the best price tags on the board today. And then over there on FanDuel, he's at $3,700. So you know what to do there with Thad Young. Throwback Sixer, man. I can't believe this guy's still in the league, though, if we're talking from a real life game perspective. Let's go over to the center position. Center position, no. Nikola Jokic, $10,600. One of my favorite stud options of the day. Jokic has been the fantasy leader so far for points this year. So Jokic's $10,600, especially against DeAndre Ayton. Not really high on DeAndre Ayton defense. So that front court of Phoenix, even though they cashed that ticket for me last night, I'm definitely going to go against Phoenix tonight. I'm going to take me some Denver Nuggets -4 and probably play Nikola Jokic double-double and the Nuggets win. But Nikola Jokic, though, for DK, one of my favorite options on the board. And then over there on FanDuel, you'll get a cheaper price tag at $10,200, but it might come at an opportunity cost because we'll talk about some value plays that they have over there on FanDuel. Going down, though, Thomas Bryant seems like one of the best plays of the day for me personally. $6,300. Should smash against Naz Reid. He had a really good game yesterday. If he played that short slate over there on FanDuel, that was definitely a center that you wanted to have. $6,300 over here on DK. You'll get a cheaper price tag over there on FanDuel at $5,800. He's actually one of my favorite center plays of the day. Also, Joe Val, $8,300. I don't think people are going to play Joe Val today, but Charlotte Hornets is definitely one of the teams that you want to attack front court wise. So Joe Val is definitely going to lead the way there at $8,300. I think that's a good price tag, especially over there on FanDuel at $7,700. I don't think he'll be high owned at all. So I definitely be getting to some Joe Val today. And then going down a little bit more, I didn't talk about him as power forward, but he's listed as center on DK, but power forward over there on FanDuel. $5,200 for Naz Reid today. I do like that price tag for Naz Reid. One of my favorite FanDuel plays of the day, $4,700. Maybe people don't want to go back there because they got burned. That last slate they played Naz Reid, but he's going to be one of my favorite plays of the day. And the last center play that I'll talk about is going to be, where's Wendell Carter at? Wendell Carter Jr. at $5,900. With all those front court guys being out for the Chicago Bulls, they're just going to be having an 8 to 9 man rotation. So Wendell Carter's minutes are definitely secure here. And I do like Wendell Carter here, $5,900 and $5,500 over here on DK. I think a sneaky game stack of that game, if you want to play the blowout in that game, is playing like Bobby Portis, Wendell Carter, and running it back with some of the Chicago value guys. You're definitely get a low-owned single-entry GPP option if you do that. But before we get on out of here, if you are looking for a free optimizer, I would use Daily Fantasy Fuel. We're going to try to build a little DK lineup real quick before we get on out of here. You press the optimize button and it puts in like your favorite plays and stuff like that. So you can kind of get an idea of like how to do different builds today. Like a guy that I didn't talk about that I'm really high on today is Kevin Durant. Almost forgot to talk about Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is actually one of my favorite stud options of today's slate. $9,100 over here on DK, and especially over there on FanDuel, $9,400. Kevin Durant seems like a very good option, but it's called dailyfantasyfuel.com. If you play like single entry or cash game lineups, it's a pretty good little optimizer to use. You can plug in your own projections and stuff like that and change it. It's pretty easy to use if you're not really into using Fantasy Cruncher and stuff like that. Me personally, I use a little bit of both. I use this one when I'm hand building stuff, and then I use Fantasy Cruncher when I'm max multi-entering things over there on Draftkings and FanDuel. But if you like this video, make sure you give this video a like and a sub. Make sure you give me a follow over on Twitter at Getting Bills, and then also over there on Twitch at Billy Briz. And make sure you check out the rest of the Pub Sports Radio videos. There's videos usually every day of the week, whether if it's NBA, NCAA football, NCAA basketball, we'll always have you covered. And then especially when UFC is coming back, we are the #1 UFC station. I will put my mark on that. As much content as we put out throughout a week, we go basically live every day of the week talking about all things sports. So make sure you give us a follow and sub if this is the first time maybe you've seen this station or something like that. But make sure you follow me over on Twitter at Getting Bills. I'm out.